And a lot of people were asking about this Ohio train derailment. So I wanted to get into it when there's a little bit more meat on the bone, and I actually have the complaint. Now, I'm going to do a complaint overview. I'm not going to do the deep dive, but I am going to go into that. Oh, real quick, somebody asked me thoughts on South Park roasting the royal grifters. Fantastic. I did not see the episode. I've just seen clips, but they absolutely deserved it. They got just destroyed. I think it's hilarious that they're out there asking for privacy. They're saying, "Oh, no one will leave us alone," but yet they're doing interviews. They're on a book tour. They're just constantly courting attention, constantly, out there scamming people. It's sad, and people still love them. I mean, I talk to people that are kind of royalophiles or not royalophiles, because people who actually like the royal family hate them. But there's some people out there that just really are simping for Meghan Markle, which, I guess there's weirdos out there, but I think they've lost all credibility in terms of their attacks on the monarchy and their request for privacy. I think they've totally lost that. There's no justification for that. All right, so let's just get into the Ohio train derailment. So a lot of people have been asking me to talk about that. Now, originally, this Ohio thing, I had people spamming the chat saying, it's just like Chernobyl. This is American Chernobyl. And as soon as I hear something like that, I'm like, okay, if it was actually Chernobyl, this would be, if it was actual Chernobyl. I mean, people who understand Chernobyl, people who've studied Chernobyl, I've watched probably every documentary, read all the documents, gone back and looked at everything there is to look on in English. I don't speak Russian, but pretty much if there's something on Chernobyl, I've looked it up. I was fascinated with that as a major event, as something that brought down the Soviet Union, one of the things that brought down the Soviet Union, and just this massive generational event that happened right around when I was born, which is weird. But I want to tell you why this is not Chernobyl and why that's a bad thing. So my explanation of Ohio here is why Ohio is not Chernobyl, and that's a bad thing. If it was Chernobyl, this sounds crazy, but bear with me. If it was Chernobyl, we might actually be in a better position. So let's talk about why. And in the context of the complaint, the context of the facts, and context of the state of our infrastructure, this is going to make much more sense. So let's look at the state of our infrastructure, our rail infrastructure in America. This is a video that's been shared out on Twitter, but I know not all of y'all are on Twitter, and I just want to make sure you guys understand these are the tracks in Ohio. These are actual railroad tracks in Ohio that are being used to this day. This is America. This is not New Delhi, India. This is not, I'm in Thailand. This is not, Cambodia. This is not Laos. This is not some random, Sri Lanka or something. This is America. I'm just going to play this video here and watch this. And watch the train, watch the movement as it goes through this. Lux says, doesn't happen in Canada. Well, y'all are doing something right then. I can't say much about Canada then in that respect. Yeah. Bella says, that looks bad. Yeah, I think that looks bad as an understatement. Mr. CC, this is not a roller coaster ride. This is actually transporting cargo. I mean, if this was an amusement park ride, this might actually be acceptable. But no, it is the tracks here in Ohio. Now, meanwhile, I'm over here in Asia, and this comes from my good friend Meme Copium, who posted this photo. But meanwhile in Japan, you've got the Shinkansens, the perfect tracks. And even over where I live in Korea, they have a KTX, they got the express trains, they got even lower quality trains, but the tracks certainly do not look like that. And Nick Cruiser brings it up right now, says, this looks horrible. We should send more money to Ukraine. Yes, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up is that, we're sending all this money abroad. When we talk about infrastructure, this is the type of infrastructure that can sorely use some fixing. can sorely use some updating here in America. And maybe we're not going to be on the Japan level. And obviously there's some things like their density, their population densities, their small direct corridors that give advantages to those countries in terms of bullet trains. But just improving our infrastructure is something that clearly we can take some time to do, and we need to do. And if there had been a Chernobyl level event, I guarantee you we would have massive government funding coming in for infrastructure. And I understand people are saying, it's state by state. It's different. It's my state is different. This is not like that in my state. That's fine and dandy. But the fact that there are any states in America, a supposed first world country, that look like that is a problem. There should be 0 states that look like that. 0. So what we have here is we have this lawsuit coming out of the derailment. Now, I'm going to read the basic facts of the derailment through the complaint, which I think is the best way to read them. Let me tuck myself in the corner here and enhance here. They've already filed. So Morgan & Morgan has already filed. The ambulance chasers at Morgan & Morgan. I will say something. I had a lot of friends in Florida who work for Morgan & Morgan. I actually have met the Morgans. I've met John Morgan. I'm just going to say that there's a reason why that guy has a driver. You look at the guy and, man, you can tell he's done some drinking in his lifetime. But Morgan & Morgan is good about settling cases, not so much taking them to trial. So I guarantee you they're going to put this to a settlement with Norfolk Southern. They also go fast. They have a pod set up, and that's a system for really going fast in terms of deploying lawsuits. And they deployed this one very quickly. So this is a lawsuit on behalf of Isa Canterbury and Lisa Sortigan individually on behalf of all other similarly situated plaintiffs against Norfolk Southern and Norfolk Southern Railway. So the plaintiffs were damaged, allegedly, by Norfolk Southern and Norfolk Southern Railway Company. Now, here's the facts, some basic facts. On February 3rd, 2023, at approximately 8:57 p.m., a mechanical defect alarm sounded on an eastbound Norfolk Southern Railway freight train 32N. An overheated wheel bearing was failing and leading to catastrophe. So right there, this is one thing why I don't think it's going to be the same as Chernobyl, is because it wasn't because of a human error that was due to hierarchy or bad decision-making or something else. This was due to pretty much negligence. And I almost want to say simple negligence. And I say that in the sense that it was a single issue which they were negligent to inspect, replace, upgrade, fix. So it's not a complicated series of events. In Chernobyl, many things had to go wrong. In this, it was really just one thing that fucked the whole train. So moments later, after that wheel bearing overheated, it failed. Train 32N derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. 50 rail cars were derailed or damaged. Several cars containing flammable and combustible materials breached, spilling approximately 688,000 pounds of polyvinyl, 273,000 pounds of ethyl hexane acrylate, and 273,000 pounds of ethylene glycol minobutyl ether, and about 200,000 pounds of butyl acrylates, and igniting an inferno that would burn for days. Train 32M was carrying 5 rail cars full of vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride is a powerful cancer-causing gas. Public health bodies such as the IRC, EPA, and NTH unanimously categorize vinyl chloride as a known human carcinogen. Vinyl chloride causes numerous forms of cancer, including rare forms of liver cancer. There is no safe level of exposure to vinyl chloride. It's a DNA mutating chemical. They're exposed to vinyl chloride may already be undergoing DNA mutations that may not manifest as clinical cancer diagnosis for years and decades. So already we're seeing how this is different than Chernobyl. In Chernobyl, radiation, and particularly acute radiation poisoning, it is very immediate. If you're acutely poisoned by radiation, you're fucking dead. I'm just going to throw that out there. We're 12 minutes in. By the way, guys, smash the like button for me cursing, because that's the only way that the algorithm is going to recognize us, is if you guys like this content over there on YouTube and on Rumble and everywhere else. Locals as well. All 6 of you on Locals. So This is a good comment here, which Dwayne brings up, which is lack of proper maintenance is the cause of many major accidents. So that's the thing, and that's why this isn't Chernobyl. If this was something that was coming down, let's say it was Biden came up with a policy that said, hey, we're gonna not look into our rail. We're gonna go to the lowest common denominator. We're gonna go to an equal opportunity hiring thing, for whatever. There's some concrete policy decision that can be tied to this. I think we might get some change, but because we're not having that here, I don't think it's the same. And because vinyl chloride is something that most people don't know about. They don't know about it like nuclear radiation. You can't put Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the same realm as vinyl chloride. Now, they do try to say, hey, look, this is something that was used during World War I. Vinyl chloride was a toxic gas that was used during World War I. You can see that right here, where they say phosphine gas, right? It creates, when it's on fire, it creates phosphine gas. Phosphine gas is a chemical warfare agent banned in the Geneva Convention and responsible for the deaths of about 85,000 people in World War I. Well, yes, that's a very good point, but it's still not as scary as an atom bomb. And look, I'm not saying this is not bad. This is very bad. This is extraordinarily bad. But what you're looking for when you have a giant event is you're looking for it to be very visible, very palpable, something that people latch onto and are able to actually demand change. But in this, I mean, suing the train company is only going to make them more broke and only going to cause more accidents like this to happen. And they're going to happen, maybe not with vinyl chloride. In fact, the majority of them won't be with vinyl chloride. The majority of them won't look like this. Holy shit, this looks bad. This looks really fucking bad. And this is going to happen more often as they continue to neglect their infrastructure, as they continue to not improve, as they continue to go to the lowest bidder. This is going to happen. But unfortunately, this one incident is not going to be it. I don't want to hype it up. I know a lot of people are out there trying to hype it up. I don't want to hype it up to be something it's not. We should be very mad about this. We certainly should be upset about this. And absolutely, we should demand that our policy regarding infrastructure changes. But this alone is not going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Unfortunately, more bodies have to hit the floor. The hard times have to really roll in before people wake up and realize what's going on. We can see this and point to this and say, you should have known. And they should learn from this. But I'm here to tell you as corporate counsel, I'm here to be the one guy who's going to be real with you. They are not going to learn from this. They're not going to learn from this. They're going to continue doing the same shit. They're going to continue underfunding us, underfunding infrastructure, funding other countries over America, funding things that are leagues away, funding gender, equity programs in Pakistan. They're going to fund those over funding shit like this in your home state. And I understand, look, there's a lot of stuff that's backlogged. Maybe labor is down right now. It's hard to hire. There's a lot of reasons they can push this off on. They can say, oh, we didn't have the proper parts because of China or Russia or whatever the fuck they want to blame it on. They can try to do that. But, I mean, this is just a sign of decay. It's a sign of failure in a society. When something like this happens, there should be serious investigation. But I guarantee you there will not be major changes in the rail industry. It's unfortunate. Now, Morgan & Morgan may make a shit ton of money on this. And in fact, I expect them to make money on this. In fact, I expect them to settle this case. I think with the potential people who are impacted by this, which if you look down, and I'm scrolling here to get kind of, they have a little zone of impact, which almost looks like a nuclear bomb right here. All natural persons who reside and own property within a 30-mile radius of 1020 East Taggart Street, East Palestine, Ohio, the class zone. It's represented by 30 miles from the derailment. That's big. That's large. Includes pretty much all of Youngstown. Almost reaching over here into Pittsburgh, into certainly the outskirts of Pittsburgh. Huge class area. And certainly Morgan & Morgan is going to take anybody in that area. And by the way, if you know somebody in that area, have them get in on this. Have them get some of that sweet bussy, that sweet train money. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. And I think they will make money on this. I think Morgan will settle this case. It's going to happen. But the railways aren't going to change, guys. They're not going to change. It's like Amtrak, you know, like you can hope and pray that Amtrak's going to improve and suddenly Amtrak's going to have bullet trains, but it's not going to happen. Amtrak is on a slow decline. They're just holding these things. Same with the postal office. They're holding it as it declines, but the quality, the services are going to decline. It's going to be a slow decay. They're saying a farmer 50 miles away lost livestock. I believe it, but, you know, once again, it's got to be contributed back. There's lots of reasons why a farmer on any given day can lose livestock, even seemingly random reasons to lose livestock. So let's not go full crop circle on it. But that's what's going on with the Ohio derailment. As that lawsuit heats up, as it goes to trial, I'll stay on top of it. And I'll see what happens with the lawsuit when it settles, which I think it will. I will report on that. But I do not expect much out of that.